Hey there, adventurers! Ready to dive into a country that's like the love child of a fairy tale and a really good pub crawl? Today, we're exploring the top 10 must-do adventures in the Czech Republic, a land that's richer in history than it is in vowels. We're talking stunning castles, charming towns, and enough beer to drown a moderately sized elephant. And trust me, after you see the price of a pint there, you'll understand why that's tempting. So buckle up, grab your sense of adventure, and maybe pack a bib, because it's going to be a wild, wonderful, and potentially messy ride. This is the Czech Republic, where the beer is cheap, the history is long, and the adventures are plentiful. First up, we're storming the gates of Prague Castle, a sprawling complex so grand it makes Buckingham Palace look like a garden shed. This ain't just some rinky-dink castle, folks. This is the Big Kahuna, a 1,000-year-old behemoth that's seen more history than your average history textbook. We're talking coronations, invasions, defenestrations, and that's just what they'll admit to on the tour. Seriously, they used to chuck people out of windows here like it was going out of style. Don't worry, they've upgraded their conflict resolution techniques since then, mostly. Now, you might be thinking, a 1,000-year-old castle? Sounds dusty. And you'd be half right. It's got centuries of dust, sure, but it's also got stunning architecture, breathtaking views, and most importantly, conveniently located pubs. Because nothing says soaking up Czech culture like enjoying a cold Pilsner Urquell while overlooking the city where it was invented. Just, maybe don't try to pay the palace guards in beer. They're very serious about their jobs, and also about not getting fired for public intoxication. Next up, we're whisking you away to Jeseníky Mountains, a town so ridiculously charming it makes Disneyland's Main Street look like a grimy subway station. Seriously, this place is straight out of a fairy tale, complete with a storybook castle, winding cobblestone streets, and more quaint little shops than you can shake a gingerbread man at. But don't let that cuteness fool you. Jeseníky Mountains has a wild side too. We're talking medieval festivals, lively pubs, and enough local spirits to fuel a medieval festival. Just try not to challenge any knights to a duel after one too many Medavina. Those suits of armor are a lot less forgiving in real life. Now, as you wander through the cobbled streets of Jeseníky Mountains, past the colorful houses and under the watchful gaze of the castle, you might find yourself thinking, this feels strangely familiar. And you know what? You're right. This place has been used as a filming location for more movies and TV shows than you can shake a clapperboard at. So go ahead, channel your inner Rapunzel, or your inner knight in shining armor. Just, maybe leave the jousting to the professionals, yeah? Right, lace up your most sensible shoes and pack a hearty lunch because we're off to Bohemian Switzerland. Now, before you ask, no, this is not some elaborate Czech prank. It's not actually in Switzerland. Think of it more like Switzerland's slightly less glamorous cousin. You know, the one who wears hiking boots to a wedding but still manages to pull it off? Yeah, that's Bohemian Switzerland. It's got towering sandstone cliffs, lush forests, and more natural beauty than you can shake a stick at. And listen, if you were a stick, wouldn't you be honored to be shaken at such majestic scenery? I know I would, but the real highlight here is the hiking. It's not exactly Everest, mind you, but it's challenging enough to make you feel like you've earned that second beer later. Speaking of which, maybe pack an extra one, you know, for hydration. And while you're in Bohemian Switzerland, you absolutely cannot miss the Pravčička Brana. It's a natural sandstone arch that puts your average doorway to shame. Seriously, this thing is massive. It's like Mother Nature was showing off her architectural skills, and let me tell you, she did not disappoint. Standing under this colossal arch, you can't help but feel a sense of awe, wonder, and maybe a slight urge to yodel. But please, for the love of all that is holy, resist the urge to yodel. We're trying to maintain some semblance of international diplomacy here. The last thing we need is another diplomatic incident sparked by an ill-timed yodel. Instead, just take a moment to soak it all in. Breathe in that fresh air, listen to the birds chirping, and try not to think about how much your feet hurt. Trust me, it's worth it. Alright, enough with the nature walks. It's time to slap on your fanciest outfit and get ready to experience the hedonistic delights of Karlovy Vary. Think of it as the Czech Republic's answer to Las Vegas, but with fewer slot machines and more, well, class. I mean, sure, you can gamble here, but why bother when you can spend your time indulging in the city's legendary spa culture? We're talking thermal baths, mineral springs, and treatments that'll make you feel like a brand new you, and don't worry, there's plenty of debauchery to be had as well. Karlovy Vary knows how to party, and by party I mean sip cocktails in opulent surroundings while discussing the finer points of Czech literature. Just kidding, it's still got its fair share of wild nights out. Think of it as the perfect place to let loose after a long day of being pampered. Now, one thing you absolutely have to do in Karlovy Vary is drink from the thermal springs. But before you go guzzling from any random puddle, let me clarify. These springs are famous for their supposed healing properties. Each spring is said to have different benefits, from curing digestive issues to making you irresistible to pigeons. Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the idea. Now, I'm legally obligated to tell you that there's no scientific evidence to support these claims. But hey, when in Rome, right? Or in this case, when in Karlovy Vary, drink the slightly sulfuric water. Just maybe avoid the ones that smell like rotten eggs. Those are probably best left to the pigeons. Okay, thrill seekers, buckle up because we're about to delve into the macabre world of Kutná Hora. This charming town is home to a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but not your typical picturesque kind. Oh no, this site is not for the faint of heart. I'm talking about the Sedlec Ossuary, also known as the Bone Church. Yes, you heard that right, Bone Church. This 14th century Roman Catholic chapel is decorated with the skeletal remains of an estimated 40,000 to 70,000 people. Now, before you call your therapist in a panic, let me assure you it's not as gruesome as it sounds. In fact, it's oddly beautiful. The bones have been arranged in artistic displays, including a massive chandelier made entirely of human bones. It's like a Gothic art installation, only instead of using paint or clay, they used, well, you know, bones. But Kutná Hora is more than just a bone-chilling tourist trap. It's a charming medieval town with a rich history and stunning architecture. Take a stroll through the town square, admire the Gothic masterpiece that is St. Barbara's Church, and for God's sake, maybe grab a coffee or something. You've earned it after that whole bone church experience. And hey, if you're feeling brave, you can even buy a bone-shaped souvenir. Just maybe don't give it to your grandma as a present. Unless your grandma is really into that sort of thing, in which case, more power to her. But seriously, Kutná Hora is a fascinating and unique destination that will stay with you long after you've left. Just maybe not literally. That would be weird. Alright, adventure enthusiasts, let's talk about something truly unique. A spa day in Prague. But hold your horses, because this isn't your grandma's spa with cucumber water and panpipe music. No, my friends, in Prague, we're talking about a beer spa. Yes, you heard that right, beer spa. Imagine submerging yourself in a giant vat of warm, bubbling beer. This is fresh, high-quality Czech beer brewed with love and care. Bathing in this liquid gold can do wonders for your skin, hair, and well-being. And yes, you get unlimited beer to drink while you soak. Now, I understand if you're a bit skeptical. Honestly, the first time I heard about this, I thought it was a joke from one of those things you must do before you die. Articles written by someone who clearly peaked in college. But no, this is a legitimate and apparently quite popular activity. Some spas even offer private baths for you and your significant other. Nothing says romance like soaking in a tub of fermented hops together. Although, a word of caution, maybe skip the garlic fries beforehand. Just a thought. And don't worry, they've thought this whole thing through. You're not just left to stew in your own suds after your soak. Most beer spas also have relaxation areas where you can, sober up a bit before stumbling back out into the world. So there you have it. A spa day unlike any other. Just remember, what happens in the beer spa stays in the beer spa. Unless you take pictures, then it's going straight on Instagram with the hashtag #CheckMeOut. Okay, thrill seekers, put down your half-empty pilsners and grab your warmest long johns because we're heading to the mountains. No, not the Alps. Don't act so surprised. Those mountains are lovely, sure, but have you seen the price of a fondue these days? Highway robbery, I tell you. Instead, we're taking you to the majestic Jeseníky Mountains, the crown jewel of the Czech Republic's mountain range. Think of it as the Alps' cooler, more affordable cousin. You know, the one who brings the good snacks to family gatherings and doesn't judge your questionable dance moves after one too many eggnogs. These mountains offer everything you could want for a winter wonderland escape. Towering peaks, pristine slopes, and enough snow to make a snowman army that would make even Elsa jealous. And the best part, you can actually afford to do it without having to sell a kidney. Whether you're a seasoned pro who enjoys bombing down black diamond runs like a caffeinated jackrabbit or a beginner who thinks pizza is just something you order on the slopes, the Jeseníky Mountains have something for everyone. Just try not to hit any trees, okay? Those things don't move. Now, I know what you're thinking, John. Skiing is all well and good, but what about the après-ski? And you'd be right to ask. What's the point of risking life and limb on the slopes if you can't unwind afterwards with a stiff drink and some hearty food, right? Well, fear not, my friends, because the Jeseníky Mountains have you covered. Here you can indulge in hearty Czech cuisine and wash it down with some of the finest and cheapest beer in Europe. Picture yourself, cheeks rosy from the cold, huddled around a crackling fire in a rustic mountain lodge. In the Jeseníky Mountains, it's all about good times, good company, and good value. And honestly, what more could you ask for? All right, fellow adventurers, are you ready to trade your snow boots for some sensible spelunking shoes? Good, because we're about to delve into the hidden world of the Moravian Karst, a subterranean wonderland. A karst landscape is characterized by sinkholes, underground rivers, and caves. Lots and lots of caves. Imagine stalactites hanging like petrified icicles and stalagmites rising like rocky teeth. Underground rivers flow through caverns, reflecting shimmering lights. The Moravian Karst is pretty darn impressive. But the Moravian Karst isn't just about exploring dark, damp caves, although that's certainly a big part of it. It's also home to stunning above-ground scenery with lush forests, dramatic gorges, and picturesque villages just begging to be explored. And for those of you who like their adventures with a side of history, the Moravian Karst has you covered. Scattered throughout the region are castles, ruins, and other historical sites that offer a glimpse into the area's rich past. Take, for example, the Makoka Abyss, a massive sinkhole that's over 138 meters deep. Legend has it that the sinkhole was formed when a wicked stepmother tried to drown her stepson in it. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well for the stepmother, or the stepson for that matter. But hey, at least the tragic tale gave us a pretty cool geological formation to gawk at, right? Just maybe don't get too close to the edge, and keep an eye out for any vengeful ghosts while you're at it. You know, just in case. All right, buckle up, wine enthusiasts and casual drinkers who tell everyone they could go for a nice glass of Pinot. We're off to Moravia, the Czech Republic's secret weapon in the world of wine. You see, Moravia is like the shy kid in class who's secretly a guitar prodigy. France and Italy might get all the attention at the wine tasting party, but Moravia is over here quietly crafting some seriously impressive vintages. And we're not talking about your grandma's cooking sherry here. Moravia is known for its full-bodied reds, crisp whites, and even some delightful roses. Basically, something to offend and delight every palate. So, ditch the $2 chuck and prepare to discover your new favorite bottle. Just remember, when in Moravia, do as the Moravians do. Sip responsibly, or at least make sure you have a designated driver with a strong stomach. Now let's talk grape varieties, because I know you fancy pants, wine snobs are just dying to whip out some obscure knowledge at your next cocktail party. Moravia is famous for its indigenous grapes like Gruner Veltliner and Vltava. Yes, I know, I said Vltava. Sounds like a type of yoga, but I assure you it's a delicious grape that produces wines with aromas of apricots and honey. Don't worry, there's no downward dog required for enjoyment. But it's not just about the fancy names and exotic flavors. Visiting a Moravian vineyard is an experience in itself. Picture this: rolling hills, charming villages, and wineries that look like they belong in a medieval fairy tale. So grab a glass, soak in the scenery, and let the good times flow. Just try not to spill any on your shirt. You're not at a college frat party anymore. Well, unless you're really committed to the bit. All right, party people, if you thought we were done with the fun and festivities, you clearly haven't been paying attention. The Czech Republic takes its celebrations very seriously, and by seriously, I mean they approach it with an enthusiasm that borders on terrifying. Forget your sad office Christmas parties and awkward family reunions. Czech festivals are a full-blown assault on the senses, in the best way possible. We're talking music, dancing, elaborate costumes, and enough food and drink to satisfy even the most enthusiastic glutton. From the ancient pagan rituals of Masopust to the more modern merriments of Prague Spring Festival, there's a celebration for every taste and every time of year. So whether you're a seasoned festival goer or a newbie looking to dip your toes in the cultural waters, the Czech Republic has got you covered. Just be prepared to embrace the chaos, because things are about to get wonderfully weird. Now, attending a Czech festival isn't just about stuffing your face with trdelník and washing it down with copious amounts of beer, although that is a significant part of the experience. It's also about immersing yourself in the local culture, learning about ancient traditions, and maybe even picking up a few dance moves that will make your friends back home question your sanity. Take the Ride of the Kings, for example. It's a UNESCO-recognized tradition, where young men ride horses adorned with colorful ribbons, accompanied by a brass band and a whole lot of shouting. It's basically the Czech equivalent of a tailgate party, but with less Bud Light and more cultural significance. So grab your drinking horns, dust off your dancing shoes, and prepare to experience the Czech Republic in all its festive glory. Just remember, what happens at the festival stays at the festival. Unless it's on Instagram, then it's there forever. Well, folks, it appears our whirlwind tour of the Czech Republic's top 10 adventures has come to an end. I know, I'm sad too. We've explored stunning castles, navigated treacherous caves, and consumed our weight in beer and sausages. What's not to love? But don't despair, this isn't goodbye, it's just see you later. The Czech Republic is waiting with open arms and a freshly poured Pilsner. All you have to do is book that flight and embrace the adventure. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more epic journeys. See you next time.